Our first speaker for today is Mr. Isaac Ando. If you didn't know, he's actually a content manager for Hangout with Wislin, and he's currently pursuing his master's degree in environmental management at Yale. And he's also a recipient of the Three Kings Scholarship. Our second speaker for today is Ms. Gloria Ijari. She is also a recipient of the Chevening Scholarship and also currently pursuing her master's in food and development at the University of Sussex. Our final speaker for tonight is Ms. Shaukia Yakubu. She's representing IBS Consulting. If you don't know IBS Consulting, they are a global education and career mobility firm that helps students gain access to top universities and scholarships worldwide. And so she's here to speak to us about them and also their processes. So any question you have, we would have a fire Q&A session at the end of all the presentations. Before we delve into this, I would like to call on our mommy, our mentor, our founder, Madam Roslyn Fosueje, to address us. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you very much, Akosia. Very good evening to everyone on today's webinar. And many thanks to the Hangout crew for putting this together. This is a very wonderful initiative to give you experiences on what really it has taken for some of us to pursue further studies abroad, and also give you information on how you can also, if you are interested. So I believe that at the end of the session, you should kindly come up with all your questions. If you are midstream in an application it'll be useful for you to bring it forward. Whatever the support you need in any way that we can help out. I believe that we'll do justice to that. As you know, Hangouts with Roslyn is designed to be a unique mentorship platform where we share, we help. We believe that by doing that, we are overcoming and winning together. We don't want to do things so rigid, so formal. We just want to flow, have informal conversations as much as possible. So don't think any question is not necessary or is not good. Just bring out your questions and let's have a good session. I I I hope, or it is my expectation, that at the end of this session next year, we're going to have testimonials of how this helped a number of us to get into higher education in different spaces because this resource was provided. So thank you so much. And to our resource persons, we are all ears. We also really value your time. And yes, that's it. So Akosia, thank you so much.
Thank you to Madam Roslyn. Okay, so we will delve into our first presentation. I would like to call upon Isaac. Isaac, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Awesome.
And thank you all for joining us for this session. I'll quickly start sharing my screen so that we can proceed.
Please, as Isaac sets up, we'll be glad to know who is here. So in the chat box, kindly introduce yourself. Yes. And if you have specific expectations of what you want to derive out of the session, kindly put it in the chat box as well. If you have questions, also feel free to put it in the chat box so that we can profile them. And even if we run out of time, we can still reach you and share the feedback with you. So kindly introduce yourself in the chat box. Let's get interactive there as we also listen. Thank you so much. And if you know anyone who must be here who hasn't joined yet, please share the link with them so that they can join. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam. Okay, my name is Isaac Ando. You can call me the favored. I'm a master's student in environmental management at the Yale School of Environment, specializing in people, equity, and environment. I'm currently the senator for YSC and the International Students Interest Group co-lead. So I'm responsible for all international students that will be coming. Hopefully, all of you listening to me right now, I would guide you during the time. I'm a Three Kings Scholarship recipient, and I like to socialize and community build. You can scan my LinkedIn code or my WhatsApp code to get in touch with me. So you may be asking, what makes USA unique and why should you even study in the USA? First of all, Hangout with Roselyn is looking out for the best for everybody. So in terms of education, the United States has the best universities in the whole world in capital letters, and their research is top-notch in health, in tech, engineering, arts, chemistry, physics. USA is leading the whole world. And it has also the biggest companies in the world. You can have internships there. You can even work with them, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, name it. And United States also has like ultra modern cities where you live, like you live in a bougie environment. There's quality services in health, sanitation, clean water, clean air, beautiful parks, resources available for you to grow. And the standard of living is also very good. You spend less, you live comfortably, and the people are peaceful and loving. And USA is also the destination for like many of the big events in the whole world. And next year, most importantly, for those of you who like sports, the World Cup will be held in USA. So it's a good time to be here as well. And there's Hollywood here, big stars, artists. If you want to listen to their music, you can just pop into their concert. So living in the US is a very big advantage, even for shopping, designer clothes and all. Now, in terms of the schools, I've proposed some schools that I feel are very good for you to get applied to. So like the Ivy League schools, University of Pennsylvania, Princeton, Yale, Cornell, and I've listed them so you can look at it or probably screenshots so that you can take a look afterwards. Now, why should you come to Yale? Now, Yale is part of the top 5 in the US and is among the top 10 out of 21,000 registered universities in the world. So it's a very good opportunity for you to be a part of a place where education is at its best, and the professors are also global. I mean, we have certain classes that are being taught by CEOs, even a president teaches some of the courses that we have here. And we have resources, and we have a museum. Our library has over 2.5 million books you can read. We have also rare books library where all the books that used to exist in 20,000 years ago are in those libraries that you can read from. And we also have a museum where you can see dinosaurs. We have an aerospace center where you can, go there to observe the universe and the stars as they are. They have all the equipment to help you look at it. And we have ultra modern laboratories also, like for chemistry and physics. Our alumni network is also very rich. Now, when you complete Yale, you have availability. You can text anyone who also went to Yale. He would connect you to a job. They're always looking out for people who attended Yale and to help them. And it's not just Yale, all the Ivy League schools, they are willing to assist and support anyone who comes their way. Yale also has a very diversity quotient that accepts about 15% to 35% of international students. I think there's a feedback from.
Have you left your post? No.
Hi, can you kindly mute your mic?
That is.
I would proceed. And Yale also has a lot of opportunities. Now, when you school in Yale and people see you, there's this, they just want to know what you're doing. So there's a big interest in you.
Sorry,
And
Isaac, sorry. Please, admin.
okay, so can I proceed? Can I proceed, please? And can I be heard?
Yes, Isaac. Yes, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much once again. So as I said, it comes with a prestige as well. When you're in Yale, we have a lot of events where big men across the United States, Europe attend. And once you have you're a Yale student, you can go to these events. You can apply for anything with Yale and then you get in because it is Yale. I remember when I was even in almost coming here, I applied for something that it was impossible to get in, but because I used the Yale, I was able to get it. So it opens doors for you. The next thing is, how do you apply to Yale? Now, applying to Yale, you can go online. look for the application portal and start applying, and sign up for the newsletter as well. Now, the newsletter, they'll provide you with information. We have a dedicated team that the school actually pays them to help people get in. So once you sign up, the person will check in all the time. You can email them back, tell them, oh, I don't understand this, I need this. They would help you because they are being paid to do it, so they will. And attending Yale seminars and EduFairs. Now, Yale and all other Ivy League schools also go around the globe, especially in Africa, to set up conferences to tell people about the school, educate them more, show them the opportunities available, so you can attend that as well. And it's really important. I'll tell you why later. You can also speak to some of the students like myself, or find anyone. They can show you some of the tips they know to get in, and alumni. They can also help you, especially if they are linked to the faculty. You can reach out to professors themselves. It's a very good advantage because when you reach out to them and you tell them that you're interested, they can help you get in easily. And you can also join the Study Abroad WhatsApp groups. In Ghana, there are lots of them. They post different schools, different opportunities all the time. You can apply to any of them. And applications for Yale and most of the Ivy League schools are open. And for Yale, we open from September to December, but most schools open like January, February, March, about. So you can apply to those ones as well, like the ones I recommended. Now, we have a lot of schools here. We have the School of Architecture, the Divinity School, where you can learn more about Christianity or religion, the School of Arts, Drama School, Arts and Sciences, Engineering, Medicine, Music, Nursing, Public Health. Global Affairs is for political science inclined people, and Law School is for law, and Management is for business, and the School of Environment, where I'm a part of, is for environmental studies and forestry. Now, most of the courses, surprisingly, you can find out when you apply, or you can ask me, but most of them don't need a background in that specific field. So you can apply starting afresh. Like Architecture 1, you can apply starting afresh, and even the School of Environment, you can start you can apply without having a background in environment. You can have a finance background, geography, but whatever, you can apply to the School of Environment and the other schools. Now, the application process and what you need. You need to pay for the application fee, but the School of Environment, you don't pay anything. But most of them, you pay about $90 or $100 to $105. But if you write an email to them, the school, and tell them that, oh, you don't have the money, they'll give you a waiver, so you don't pay anything. And when you join the WhatsApp groups for the grad school WhatsApp groups, they post waivers for some of the schools frequently, so you can apply using the waivers, and you won't pay anything. And for the standardized tests, for my school, it's not really necessary, so you don't need to write that. All that you have to do is to show that you went to a university that was in English, and your transcripts, you can get that. Letters of recommendation, you can get that. Resume, statements of purpose, you can get that, and be sure to apply before the deadline is due. Now, one of my favorite parts is showing you the tips for a successful application. So in my own opinion, these are the things you have to look at. Connection gives you 100% entry. Now, Connection is write an email to a professor and tell them that, oh, I'm this person and I'm interested in this program, and I admire your work, or like something relating to what the professor is, and tell them that you want to apply. If they say yes, go on and apply. That's it. You put in the application, you are 100% sure to get. So that really helps. And as I said, if you attend the EduFairs and meet with the Yale or any of the Ivy League school people who came, tell them that you want to be really serious about it. If they notice you, you're 100% through. The second thing to also factor is your statements of purpose. Now, people write statements of purpose and talk about lots of different things, but focus mostly on 3 things that I've highlighted. On the leadership roles you have held, the voluntary work you have done in different organizations, and the innovation you have come up with. You don't need all 3, but look out for something that makes you unique. Maybe you came out, you have an app you created, or you did something that's extraordinary, And then the impact, you can tell a story of how you have helped maybe some children, you have helped your own family, or like something that is a touching story about people that you have influenced, like you influence your whole community to now worship God, or you influence your whole community to be environmental conscious, or you influence the whole community to pursue education, like something that gives you a very high, that makes your work very high. And your writing portfolio, it's when maybe you're applying for the art school, they look at those kind of things. Your resume, make sure you highlight your skills, your knowledge, and your personal qualities. They are also very interested in personal qualities like your kindness, your good communication, your loving attitude. Let them let them see that you're a good person, because they want good people. And then the networks you have is also important. I think someone is writing on my screen. And they also do a Kira video where you speak so that they see if you can speak English indeed. That gives you that's a 40% metric on my side. So it's not really important, but look at the most important things. The connection is first, statements of purpose, highlight these 3 things. And I think you can have a successful application. Also note that every 100 applications, my school will select just 2 people. So it's highly competitive. That's why you have to apply to a lot of schools and not just one school. Now, in terms of funding, once your application goes through, my school might give you like 90% or 100% funding based on your needs. So that one, you don't really have to worry about it. The school will sort you out. And then in terms of scholarship, if you get a 3K scholarship it comes with the application process. So you can get 20K after school, but then it covers your full tuition. So you don't really have to think about what you would spend on. And then the Global Affairs program also gives you stipends. And when you get in as well, you can apply for teaching fellowships, which will give you about $5,000 for the semester, which is a lot of money. And there are jobs, like for my school, there's so many jobs you can apply to when you come here. So all that you need is to get the 100% funding, which my school will likely give you when you're able to make a good application. And external funding places, you can apply for the Fulbright scholarship. MasterCard also has good scholarships for people applying to the Arizona State University and others. And most of the schools too have external options. So once you start applying, all of these schools I shared have dedicated teams. So ask them that what are the external places I can get funds. They will show you, and then it will support the funds they're already giving you. So that's one. And then once you're able to get the funding and the admission through, the visa becomes a very big challenge for most people. But the Ivy League schools that I shared in my school, you have 90%, 95% to 99% chances of getting your visa, because they know that you really struggled to get in. So you are probably 100% sure to get your visa issue. So that's one reason why I would recommend my school and all the schools I shared. Now, another thing that's really important is your faith in God. You need to pray a lot about it. So I posted one of my favorite scriptures, Ezra chapter 8, verse 23. It says that, so we fasted and petitioned our God about this, and he answered our prayers. And you can follow my church, Pentecost, or you can follow the Keeper's House Chapel International. They are really good places that they can support you in prayers to get your application through. And in the United States, most students here who are Christians, they attend the Vox Church, which is also really good in prayers and support. So you can join any of these churches and let them pray with you. And I'm sure your application process will go well. Now, how is living like in New Haven? There's so much support from the Ghanaian community. The Ghanaians here support each other so much. If you need anything, they are there to help you. The African community is also there to help you with anything, to make sure you don't struggle with anything at all. There are lots of clubs you can join. If you're interested in cooking, there is a cooking club. If you're interested in salsa, there are salsa clubs. If you're interested in gym, there are gymming clubs. Like anything you're interested in. And the cultural shocks, the accents, they speak very fast. Their clothing, they don't really care about clothing. They wear anything. People even wear pajamas to class. And punctuality, they are very punctual. If the class starts at 8, they are there already. So prepare to be very early in class and everything. And we also do with appointments a lot. You don't just pop into the hospital, or you don't just pop into the bank. You must have an appointment. So you must book before you go, or else they won't treat you. And people like to chat. So when you go for events, people will try to speak with you, prepare to listen to them and also chat back. So you have to be very extroverted. The weather here in New Haven is one of the coldest in the US. Again, I would also blame it to the forest. When you look at the picture, I see a lot of forest here, like trees. So that's why this place really gets cold. But other places in the States is like really cool. So it's not really a problem. And the food, there's so much food here. There are lots of restaurants. This month we broke the record of like most pizzas served in a day. They serve like 5,000 people pizza, free pizza. And there's so much food and it's really cheap. Most people are not religious, so you don't have to be judgmental because it's pretty normal, and be ready to accept people for who they are. People wear earrings as boys, people braid, like people do anything, just be willing to be accepting of them. And people are really loving and kind. If you need any help, they will help you, and they are really smart. So don't think Omabon, like they're really good. So you have to bring your A game in terms of academics. The environment is serene with extra fresh air, security, and there's also this escort service. If you are working in the night and you feel scared, you can call the security. They'll just come and escort you. So it's really safe, and there are shuttles all over. So anywhere you want to go, it will take you there for free. And there are lots of options in terms of amenities. Like you can shop anywhere. There are lots of books, like anything you want. It's just, and there are events all the time. So if you're a party person, every day you have an event to attend. And it's so fun being in school. My final words, you should apply to any of the schools I shared, either 3 schools or all of them. But maximum 8 schools is fine. Just apply, because at least one of them, even if they are very mean to you, at least you get one. So apply to as many schools as possible. And like, again, they have waivers. So don't think about maybe the application fee is $100 and you don't have the money. Ask them that, oh, can I have a waiver? They'll give you the waiver and then you apply for free. And if you think you don't have the time or energy to do it alone, you can do it with a friend who supports you, and you guys will pull each other up. Yeah, and use my tips and apply. So these are some pictures I gathered of how exciting things are. And then hang out to Roselyn. If you can see the picture, that's me with Madam. She'll come and visit you here, so you don't have to be afraid. And I love USA. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah. And
Wow.
that's the end of my presentation.
Wow. Thank you so much, Isaac. That was very, very insightful. I've learned a lot from you. One key takeaway would be to document everything. Nothing is too small. You never know. Maybe what you see little can be held in high regard by the school you apply to. So document everything. Our next speaker is Gloria. Gloria, are you ready? Hello, Gloria.
Hello.
Hello, Gloria. We can hear you
Yes,
now.
yeah, host was not allowing me to. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi everyone. My name is Gloria Ejare. I think I'll just share. I wanted agenda to share my screen for me, but I'll just do that right away. So before I share my screen or before I start, I will just tell you a very short story. Please, can you see my screen? Oh, okay. Agenda, you're showing it for me, right?
Yes,
Hello?
please.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. So before I start talking about my journey and everything, I'll just share a very short story with you. In the year 2018, I attended like my first ever Chevening awards event. So like before, when scholars are selected, before they leave Ghana to go and study, they have like a pre-departure event. And fortunately, I was invited by one of the scholars then. So that was my first time of hearing about Chevening. When I went for the events, how they celebrated the scholars, how like their faces popped up on a big screen. We had like dignitaries like applauding them, celebrating them, like they being broadcasted. It felt so surreal. And I could see the joy, like the scholar who invited me at the time felt, how his family felt, and everything. And in that moment, I was so inspired. And I asked myself, will I ever become one of these people? Like, will I ever become a scholar? And I remember saying in that day when I was there that, God, like, please, I want to also be a global scholar. So that was how my journey began. But I mean, I said it that time and I forgot about this whole scholarship thing because I was just focusing on building my capacity, working, and yeah. So let's talk a bit about me, and then I'm going to continue on how this story on how it went about, like basically in my line of work, or let's say in my journey as a young leader. So basically, I'm an environmentalist by profession. I've been working in the environmental space over the past 6 years. My heart is really with the food sector, and this shows in my background and the things I've done, both voluntarily and professionally, and also in academia. I am a Chevening scholar, and this is one of the most competitive scholarship in the world. We'll talk more about that in the following slides. I'm a senior fellow under the Aspen Institute, and my work so far over the past 6 years has empowered over 1,700 community members through community-based projects. No, please, previous slides. Through community-based projects, focusing on food, climate, and nature. And then 8,000 plus young people have been trained and empowered through my capacity building programs, initiatives, and all of that. I've also had the opportunity to influence policies both locally and also globally, internationally on platforms like COP, Conference of the Parties, which are very significant when it comes to climate change. Next slide. So in my journey, I have this simple career transition timeline. I wanted to just illustrate to you how sometimes what you really want does not come at once. It takes a certain period of time that is very significant in preparing you for the right moment and the right time. And this is very important when you talk about international scholarships, career transition, and getting to like the level where you really want to get to. I think it's very, very important. So in the year 2019, I graduated from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, with my background in agriculture. I missed my graduation because fortunately, I got a job offer in Kenya to work for the University of Dedan Kimathi in Nyeri in Kenya. So I went there, I worked under the food department. It was supposed to be, let's say, for a while. But then I was told I have to rush back for national service, else I would miss my certificates and all of those things. So I had to leave after a while in Kenya. I came back, but a little throwback, before graduating from school or before leaving KNUST, I was doing a lot of like voluntary activities. I was with NACTUS, and I was also working with other like people under the IAS, which is the agriculture. There's an agriculture unit under my department, which I was also the Deputy Women's Commissioner and all of that. So I have always been involved in voluntary activities. I worked for, at that time, I was still a volunteer under the Ghana Youth Environmental Movement. And then when I came back to Ghana, I did my national service. I actually did my national service at Motor King, which was very different from the background I came from. So Motor King, I don't know if you guys have seen the Aboboya and Tricycle in town. Motor King is where I worked for. It was a Chinese company. And alongside that, I was still like implementing projects under Ghana Youth Environmental Movement under a voluntary role while working with Motor King as the sales officer. Even though a bit of their work covers like providing machinery for agricultural purposes, I think that it was mainly like engineering. So in between there, like I said, I was still on volunteering. Fast forward, I implemented my major project during the COVID-19 pandemic called the Chainsu Project under Ghana Youth Environmental Movement. And what happened here was that the success of the project was one of the things that encouraged me to try my first attempt with Chevening application, because basically during that time in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, water was very, very essential. If you remember, washing of hands and all of that. But we had a community in the peri-urban areas of Accra like Treba, and people were struggling with water accessibility and all of that. Kids were walking like over a kilometer just to have access to water. So I was the project officer for that project, and we were able to construct a water kiosk, which is currently dispensing water to over 700 households in that community. So I was excited when I spoke to alumni and they were like, oh, yes, you've done so well. And apart from that, you've led other projects, you know, you've volunteered so well in various aspects. So apply for Chevening. And yeah, I wrote my essay. I made like people read and they were like, oh, it's good. I sent it. And then my rejection came in 2022. Honestly, when it came, I was like, this scholarship, I'm not going to apply. Why? What is it? What is it about Chevening? But well, before I get to my present moment and in between 2022 and 2023, from 2019, I'd always wanted to study abroad, because after going through the Ghanaian educational system, I thought that I needed a different educational experience that I thought and I was thinking that will prepare me for like a much like higher tax, higher opportunity, exposure, expand my impact in the work I do. So it has always been one of my dreams. So in 2019, alongside, I was writing a lot of SOPs. I applied for schools in the UK and all of that. Now let's have that in mind and put that somewhere. In 2022, between 2022 and 2023, I worked on a major project. I think Ohima is here, so definitely she would know about it. I worked on a food project. And if you remember, I said my background is in agriculture and I have a very soft spot for food and agriculture. So all the while, I was really struggling to make a connection between my professional journey, which took a very different path, which is environmental space, and like bringing the food that I really have a soft spot for and the environment too that I really like and very passionate about, bringing these two together to make sense out of it. Now, this project, which happened for me to implement under the organization I was working for, was the groundbreaking moment. I remember one day on the farmland, it was a 1 acre of land. The goal was to restore a degraded land. The land was terribly degraded. The topsoil was off. So it was to bring it back to life through agroforestry. And this is, agroforestry is basically, for anyone who doesn't understand, like planting in between trees. So it's like have trees on the land, plant your food crops in between. Let the farmer be able to harvest and make income out of it, just to prove to our farmers that they can move away from the way we produce food today, which actually affects the environment or our climate. So this was me having to lead this big project. One morning on the farmland in the eastern region of Ghana, in Kwenyakon, I stood in the middle of the land at 6 a.m. and I watched that barren land, and I said to myself, I have designed how I think the land should be, how I'm going to plant in between the trees, because I had already done a lot of capacity building and all of that. And I said that, God, give me the grace to be able to do this successfully, because for me, in that moment, I felt like I had been able to bring or understand how agriculture and the environment can really fuse together, because that is where my heart lies. And indeed, the project was one of like the best challenges I had. And in that moment, I realized that this is the spot. This is where I need to hit. And fortunately, in my line of research, I'll talk more about research when we are going further. The UK government had a solid interest in agroforestry. So that was a groundbreaking moment for me. Like, I got that. This is where I want to go to. This is what I want to embark on. This is how I want to contribute in the space of food, agriculture, and the environment. So next slide. But I have one thing here that I basically want to say is that even though my career path was like a bit undulating at a point, I still realized that there was a sync in between all of them. And that was very important in telling my story and in applying for the world's most competitive scholarship and winning it. We'll talk more about it in previous one. So this is where, like, basically, this is when I realized I was ready. So deciding when you are ready is really having that moment of epiphany, like, this is it. This is it. I have clarity in where I'm going. At least sometimes clarity is not 100%, of course, but at least you know where you are going. You know what you want. You know why you're embarking on this. And you know that there are some few gaps that you need to strengthen. And it is why I need to be educated in a certain field or industry. So let's keep that in mind. So you need to understand where you are going to. So in that moment, and when I look at my Chevening scholarship, my winning essay, I always call it my winning scholarship essay. When I look at it now, and I look at the one I wrote in 2021, which received a bounce in 2022, I see a sharp difference, because there was like, the one I have now has clear clarity in what I'm connecting, and everything along the essay was well woven together to make sense. And definitely, if you read it today, you still want to find me again for the second time, because I know where I'm going to. Okay, so another thing too is that, like I said, working and identifying your skills gap. Maybe, oh, you need to polish your communication skills, your negotiation skills, because you want to do policy, or you want to do maybe something else. You want to become a minister. You know, there are some key things that you know that you need to get as a young leader if you want to get to where you want to get to. If you are able to identify this, it is also your turning point, and knowing that you are ready for the next international education. And so also it's about readiness and clarity, and also God's timing. I think it's very, very important for us to understand, because sometimes you are ready, you apply, you do everything, and it will not work. So let's keep that in mind, God's ultimate timing. So rejection does not mean that you don't have it, you're not good enough. It could be that in that moment, God is saving you from something, God is preparing you for another thing. So let's keep that also in mind. Please, next slide. Now, how to prepare for graduate education. After you are ready, you've identified all of the things. Now, you find the right opportunity. There are numerous scholarships. Isaac came to talk about his scholarship, which is very impressive. There are so many. There's Chevening, there's MasterCard, there's sometimes I'm even overwhelmed. I'm like, I didn't know this scholarship exists. Hey, people know a lot of things, you know. So identify, do proper research, identify the right opportunity and narrow it down. Okay. And when you are doing your research, look at your eligibility. Who are you? Okay. Do you meet the standards of this particular scholarship? Do you do this? You know, Auntie Rosemary is even talking. There's Commonwealth Share Scholarship, there's Commonwealth Scholarship, even within the UK terrain. So there are so many scholarships that you have to really do proper research to find out, and you find the right fit for you. I also think that it's very important to connect with alumni after you've identified the right scholarship opportunity for you. Find an alumni who can provide you tips, because sometimes those who have gone ahead of you, they know more, at least one thing more than you. So it's very, very important to ask someone that, oh, how did you get it? Well, what can I do to get here like you know? And also clarify 5 strong motivations beyond travel. It shouldn't be that Ghana is hard, so you want to run away, so you are looking for some of these opportunities to run away. I tell you, you run away, but you go back and then you will still not thrive, you know. So try and then find something that is strong, because also this actually is seen in how you tell your story. The reader or reviewer can tell that this person is motivated by something beyond just traveling outside their country. So it's very, very important. Another thing, I think I'll reiterate what Isaac spoke about. Keep journal of achievements. It's so, so important. When I did the Chinsu project, honestly, even at that time, I think that I learned from someone the need for me to even keep that as like, this is the project you led. It was successful. It's such a big project. You are very young and you did this at this. So keep that, you know. And I use some of these things to apply for my scholarship. Even though I was bounced at that time, I still kept it because it was one of my enriching stories. I led other projects. I represented the organization in various platforms. The organization at that time was very young and growing, you know. So I did so many things that could help me tell my story better. Along the line, let me tell you, in 2022, again, after, when I was like, I wanted to try the Chevening application again for the second time. I realized that no, I was still not ready, because I had a draft. When I reviewed it and then I sent it to someone to review, it had so many correct, and I was like, no, I think I really need to strengthen my writing skills so that I can apply for this once that gets me into the room, you know, to go and defend myself as to why they should sponsor me. So I didn't apply in that year 2022 again, and waited until 2023 to apply and get my results in 2024. So that's one thing you should understand. Also seek mentors, follow scholarship boards. I was trying to see if I received a message for the time. Seek mentors, follow scholarship boards, very, very important. And your faith in God is so important on this journey. Don't also joke with YouTube. You use YouTube a lot. As for me, YouTube really helped me, because sometimes there are some things you can't ask like the alumni. You have to go and find out for yourself, so that at least when they're engaging, you can also relate and understand what they're trying to say. So I use YouTube a lot. I joined community of scholars and alumni network to also understand some of these things. Please, next slide. So this is what like really led me to this place. Now, why I chose Chevening. First off, I've always been a big fan of the UK. The UK's educational system, to be very specific, the UK's educational system, because in the entire world, they are known to be the best. It's nothing like this. This is not something we argue about in terms of education. I have people from my class who are like from China, South Korea, whatever. They rush into the UK. I remember in our first introductory session in class, lecturer was asking each of us why we chose the UK. And someone said that in my country, if you have a UK certificate, you will get a higher job, you get higher pay And when she goes back again to her country with the certificate from our university, she's going to get a managerial position. That's why she's there. She was from China. Another person from South Korea also said same. You know, so it shows the value the certificate has. Okay, someone could argue that it's branding, but really it's well respected. So that is why I also was like, I want to learn at a place where the certificate is valuable, and not just the certificate, but the experience in itself is valuable and respected on a global scale. So that is why I chose the UK. Also, I felt like we were literally colonized by them. We are using the British English, like we do a lot of things together. There's a lot of things. So why not go and learn from this particular place and then, just thrive or build up on it. So yeah, and I also needed to build my key skills in certain areas like negotiation, policy, formulation, and all of that. So it was very important to me for me to choose the UK because they are good in that. I also wanted to learn from world-class tutors globally, and I wanted to learn from one of the best institutes in the world when it comes to development. Development is a core issue when it comes to Africa. So it was very, very important for me to choose the right place and also prepare myself for the competitive job markets. I'm telling you, there are spaces where I've entered, even with common visa, when you go and you attach your Chevening final award letter to it, it's so easy for you to get it. It's like, okay, the UK government is supporting you, the UK government trusts you, the UK government, they will just give you, so it's very, very important to know what you are selecting, where you are selecting, and be able to cross some of these hurdles that comes with being a young leader within this space. So yeah, global alumni network, policy impact, leadership, all of those things. And I also wanted to study, like I said, from the world's best institute when it comes to development. It's been ranked 9 times, the University of Sussex, 9 solid times in a row, the world's best institute when it comes to development. So for me, it was like a really big deal to come here. Anyways, I had also admission to the University of Leeds, but I decided to choose, which is actually a Russell Group university, but I decided to choose University of Sussex because it relates more to my work and where I wanted to go to. Next. So about Chevening, I would not talk too much and give you too much details because Chevening has been in existence for a very long time. There are numerous information about Chevening online. I have the website here. You can visit the chevening.org scholarship, Ghana, especially because you are from Ghana, just to understand so many things. You can visit the www.chevening.org to learn more about it. Chevening is prestigious. Let me tell you one reason. The entire world, imagine receiving 100,000 plus applications, and out of that, only 1%. Do you know what 1% means? That is like they're looking at people like around maybe just 1,000 and something, or just 1,000 or something like that to take this scholarship. How are you going to convince people out of 100,000 people that choose me to be part? So if you see a Chevening, I always say that if you see a Chevening scholar, you should know that that person is really deserving of it. That person has worked very hard and has footprint. You should always acknowledge that Chevening scholar is the best. Sorry, Isaac, it's not competition, but it's really the best that you can look out for. Now about Chevening, Chevening is quite simple. It's like telling your story. Be honest, own your journey, own your story. It's really heavy on leadership. Chevening or the UK government doesn't just want to like choose just anyone to sponsor. Like the UK government, I will say he because I'll put it in a male figure or personalize it. So the UK government is looking for young people, not just young people, but people with so much potential and a promising future. Because why should I invest my money in you if you don't know where you're going to, if you don't have like a leadership focus and all of that? Do you get it? So with the Chevening application, please, can you hear me? Someone says, please, can you hear
Yes,
me? Let me,
yes,
okay.
Gloria, we can.
Okay, Edu was saying he can't hear me. So with the Chevening scholarship, it comes with 4 questions. When you see my screen, it looks so simple. You would think that it doesn't require effort. But when you start to write, that is when you realize that you need to be very reflective. You need to be able to put together your essays in a convincing way. It doesn't mean you should lie, no, because what they do is they do a lot of research. So as you are there, you can go and lie, but they will track it all because they need to get the best of the best. So that one of the questions looks at your leadership experience. Describe a time when you demonstrated leadership. And question 2 will look at, tell us about like your professional relationship that you have built and maintained. So this is basically about how you network with people and how does that benefit you and the community you live in. And then question 3 talks about explaining your first choice of course and university. So if you remember, I told you earlier that during my time, this is they've made a little changes to the application, but it's still the same thing. During my time, I had the opportunity to choose 3 universities of my choice. That's one thing about Chevening that I like. No restriction. Any university you want, any course you want, choose it. The government is willing to fund you. So it's very, very important. But it's like the only thing is that you have to make sure that you know why you are choosing that university. You are not just choosing it because on the platform of the university, they are saying it's the world's best, is the world. There must be something beyond that that drives you to want that. So that's also one important thing that you need to take note of. And the fourth one is talking about your career plans. If you remember, I told you earlier during 2022 to 2023, after implementing that food project, I realized that this was it. Like, this is where I want to like build up on. This is how I want to merge agriculture and food to ensure that we produce food in a way that does not affect the environment, and to also ensure that climate change or anything environmental does not affect our food system. So in that moment, I had a clear career plan that, okay, then I want to study food and development. Okay, then I want to focus on policy changes, ensuring that climate change policies, food and agriculture policies are crafted and are put together in a way that ensures that sustainability is at the center of it. So with this clarity, you are able to write clearly and tell the UK government that, yes, I've been doing this for a while now, but I want to go to school for 1 year to be able to build my capacity in this, and that. After, when I come back, I want to go back to Ghana. I don't want to stay in your country I want to go back to Ghana and give back to the community. And in giving back to the community, this is where I want to be. Maybe before I left Ghana, I was project officer. When I go back, I want to be manager, programs manager, or maybe director, because my capacity has been built. I cannot go back to a lower stage again. Now, in that role, I want to do this and that and that. And this and that and that aligns with you, the UK government, your interest in so and so and so, because I have seen it on your country framework or interest, tell them perfectly, it aligns. This is how I see that it aligns. And that is why I'm here, and I'm asking you to fund me. In the long term, maybe I want to be Minister for Food and Agriculture, or in the long term, I want to be an agri-food system policy expert, or whatever you want to be. And I think that this will help also push your agenda as a government in my country and also help me get to where I want to. It's a win-win affair. It's just about convincing the person that you have to fund me for your own win, for my own win. And I'm worth funding for whatever about. I have some few slides to go, but I want to leave you with one thing, which is very, very important. In writing the Chevening essay, it is all about the formula STAR approach. I have added L because I noticed that this really helped me. And I've reviewed a number of applications and people have won the scholarship through this formula that I gave them. So today I'm sharing this with you. To win the Chevening scholarship, especially the essay stage, which is very, very difficult because this is not reviewed by anyone in Ghana there are a group of people in the UK who really review these essays. They look at how you position the essay. What was the situation? The first question is talking about your leadership experience. Describe a time when you demonstrated leadership. Describe a time when you demo. So first off, you talk about the situation. So maybe in the year 2020, okay, a community in Accra, Ghana called Treba faced severe water crisis where young children walk over a kilometer to have access to basic need like water. And this was also in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. So the situation was exacerbated. This is the situation. This is the challenge. Okay, that was what was happening in that community. Now, as programs officer or as project officer, so the second thing is, what task, when you saw that situation, what did you do? What was your task? What was your responsibility? How did you help address the situation? Okay, then you can just go ahead and say that, okay, maybe at that time when I saw that situation, I was project officer for your farm foundation or for this whatever organization I'm working for. I was project officer for this. And as part of my responsibilities, I was supposed to design and implement a solution, which is a water kiosk project that will address the situation for the community. You know, so you are talking about your responsibility in that moment, okay? And the entire goal is maybe to ensure that the community has access to basic need like water. That you've addressed situation and your task. Now, what action did you take? Okay, if that was your goal, what action did you take? So simple, my action was to, one, apply for a grant with my team and win maybe 5,000 pounds sterling, win maybe 10,000, whatever the amount is. You applied for a grant, you won the grant, and now you mobilized your team to what? Implement it. If you didn't apply for a grant, don't go and say it. So it's basically about, I'm just giving you an example that in running through this formula of STAR approach, you just talk about your role, your specific role within that particular challenge that you are sharing, okay? And that is what exemplifies you as a leader. So you can talk about the actions you took and how you brought your team together to address it. And as a result, 700 people were impacted by the project I implemented. Use numbers, 700 people. And this even, maybe the success of the project led to my recognition as this, or maybe the success of the project led to
Hello,
my
Gloria.
promotion as, yes, please.
Yeah, so sorry to cut you,
Yes.
but you've exceeded.
Oh, sorry. So I think the achievement is too detailed. Okay, let me
Yeah.
just wrap up, please.
Okay,
Just
all
give me.
right.
So basically, just talk about your results. And then the last thing, talk about your learning experience. I should have set my timer on. So talk about your learners. Maybe at the end of the day, you learned that there's more that needs to be done when it comes to water and sanitation issue. So simple. That is it. And please, next slide. I think I have just one or two, sir. Yeah, so in short, in your do's and don'ts about your role, use the British English, give 2 examples. You don't have a lot of words, so just make sure you give 2 examples. Don't let AI write a story for you, please. Don't let AI write. You can write your essay as messy as it is, and you can use maybe Grammarly or whatever it is, these AI powered tools, Grammarly, to refine it, but don't let it write a story for you. Be as specific as possible. Please, next one. I think this, yes, so the perks and opportunities, there are so many. This is fully funded opportunity. I didn't have to pay a dime to apply for this scholarship. And even applying to the schools in the UK, you are free to apply freely, like no one is charging you for application fees. So you just write your SOP, apply to the school, and you do that separately aside your achievements. So you can get your achievement scholarship. If you don't apply for your school, you lose the scholarship. So everything is done separately. My culture shock was basically, I mean, in terms of my experience so far, the food has really, I
Hello,
don't like the
Gloria.
fish. Yes, please.
Yeah, so sorry.
So should I
But
cut it?
yeah, just the end
Okay,
and
okay.
summary.
All
Yeah.
right, okay. Thank you very much. So I mean, basically that is the end of my presentation. That's all I
Thank you
actually have.
so much.
Thank you.
It seems everyone has a picture with Mommy Rosalind, so we have to still show our own. Okay, thank you so much, Gloria, for your insightful presentation. Again, to iterate, Isaac said the same thing. She also said the same thing. Document anything you do, documents, the little thing you do. It is very, very important in your application. We'll move on to our last speaker, Shaukia. And also just to chip in, if you have any question, kindly drop it in the chat and the speakers will address it in the chat as well. So we move on to our last speaker. Shaukia, are you ready? Hello, can you hear me?
Hey.
Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Shaukia Yakubu. I'm the Director for Specialized Sales at IBS Consulting. For the last 40 minutes or so, we've had amazing stories from Gloria and Isaac about their journeys in pursuing higher education outside the country. I think that basically almost everybody is inspired by their stories, incredible tenacity, and all the effort they put into the application. Unfortunately, the reality is that out of every successful story we hear, we have hundreds and hundreds of people who have rejections and who are not able to get into these schools. And the reason is not that they have bad profiles or they put in bad applications. The major reason that we have realized make it impossible for people to get into their dream schools is that they do not position themselves well enough to convince these international universities to invest in them. Because when you apply for admission, you are basically saying, let me pay you to teach me. As soon as you are looking at funding, you are telling these schools to invest in you. So why should these schools invest in you? In my presentation today, I'll talk about all these things and I'll look at what has worked for IBS over the years and how anybody who needs IBS assistance can also reach us. Before I continue, please, can you see me? Can you
Yes,
please confirm?
please.
All right,
We
great.
can. Yeah.
All right, great. So IBS Consulting, we're a Canadian company. We started in Canada about 6 years ago. So we have a head office in Canada, and we are registered in Ghana, and we have an office in Ghana as well. We work with clients all over the world, Nigeria, the Caribbean. We've worked with clients in the US, in the UK, in Canada. In fact, even though we have our headquarters in Canada and we're registered in Canada, most of our clients actually go to the US. So we have worked with over 2,000 clients that have had very amazing success stories. Our mission is simple: to democratize access to quality education worldwide through strategic consulting. Now, the reason is very, very simple. We just want to make sure that everybody, no matter where you are, no matter the resources you have, and where you find yourself, you can have access to quality education. That is why Ghanaians like Isaac and Gloria can attend some of the top schools in the world. That is why a young girl from Ashaiman or from Nima can say, I want to go to Harvard and make it possible. So that is why we exist. We want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to go to school and have all the opportunities that also come with having quality education as well. So like I said, we've worked with over 2,000 clients for the past years. We've also had over $2 million in scholarships and funding as well. And we are one of the few consultancies that have 100% transparency system where we track clients' progress. We are transparent with what is going on and what can be possible or not possible based on clients' profile. So our core services, we have admissions consulting, we have scholarship strategy, interview prep, and career integration. I'll explain into details. For the admission consulting, what we basically do is to help you personalize your school and program selection. So when I speak to clients, usually I ask a few things. I ask them, where do you want to school? What country do you want to go to? What schools are you looking to applying to? And then I also ask them what course they want to read. Now, a lot of people are mostly confused by the course they want to read, the school they want to attend, and which country, if like mostly they want to go to. But we ask these questions so that we know what the client is thinking and so that we can suggest various options based on the information we get from these clients. And we are able to personalize schools and programs for our clients based on their profile, based on their dreams and goals and aspirations and their long-term, short-term goals, and what exactly their resources are at the time they contact us. We also work on fit-based recommendations over rankings. So basically what we do is that when you come to us, it's amazing to go to like the top 10 business schools in the world. It's amazing to go to the best engineering school in the world. But also you have to be realistic. We look at your profile and we say, what do you seek to achieve by going to a top school? And then if you tell us and your profile does not fit a top school, an Ivy League, for instance, we will look at an equally quality school that can fit your profile, that can also help you achieve the goals that you set out to achieve, and suggest it to you and tell you why the school is a better option. So that's basically what we are here for. We look at professional editing of SOPs and personal statements, CV optimization, and reference letter strategy and coordination. I will really touch on the reference letters and recommendation letters because, unfortunately, for this part of the world, we have our professors, our lecturers giving us very generalized recommendation letters. And we underestimate how important it is to have a recommendation letter that is pretty great, right? So that is where IBS comes in. We write the recommendation letters. All your recommenders have to do is to review and sign for you. And I've said a lot of things about writing this, reviewing this, and going through this with you. But I want you to understand that this process is not robotized. It is personalized to you. So it is not IBS manufacturing various achievements and milestones. All is on you. You've done all the work. You've gotten your first class. You've gotten your second class up par. You've had volunteering experiences. You've done internships. You've had a job. You've had many years of work experience. You also have made meaningful impact in the society you come from. All we need to do is to amplify these achievements in a way that objectively helps you to stand out in the midst of thousands of applicants. So we are trying to tell the school that from where you are sitting, we can understand the quality of applicants the school is also looking at. So when the school reads your application, they will not see a consultancy on paper. They will see you, they will see your journey, they will see your achievements, and they will see exactly why they should invest in you. That's why we are here. When it comes to the scholarship strategy, I think I've mentioned a few. Now, we look at profile analysis, like I said. And like, there are lots of scholarships out there. I think Isaac and Gloria have mentioned a few. But then at the same time, not every scholarship is best suited to everybody. So you have to make sure that you are doing your research into which scholarships are best for you. Now, in many instances, clients are not able to do this research. So we help them do that. We give them a shortlisted scholarship list, and then they will look at it and then let us know which ones they want to lean towards based on their profile. We look at narrative alignment. For instance, when it comes to Chevening scholarship, like Gloria has mentioned, you look at leadership and other aspects of your profile. When it comes to that, we look at development. So these are the kinds of information we have that a lay person may not have. So we make sure that we position you in a way that makes you like a competitive candidate for any school you want to apply to. The only thing is you need to have been able to tick some boxes on the requirements list. We also help with interview and career readiness. Most schools in the world, especially for the quality schools, have various interviews you go through because they want to meet the person that they are considering. So what do? We make sure we train you, we make sure we prepare you in a way that gives you confidence, in a way that helps you tell your story so they can understand. Especially look at the cultural differences we have from people all over the world. You could join a panel for an interview and you have an Indian on the panel listening to you speak. And how do you communicate with such a person? We help you prepare for these interviews and these are some of our success stories. We have Prince Ka, Saliaka, Samuel Kuma, Boachi. All these people have gotten into some of the best schools in the world with scholarships. Now, one story that is really important to me is the story of Kari Kari. Kari Kari is an old student of Kenya University, and Kari Kari was a first class student. When he booked a call with me, we have a free 30 minutes consultation call. So when he booked a call with me, usually, like I said, when a client joins a call, I ask them, what do you want IBS to help you with? Like, what do you seek to achieve with this call? And mostly for the first maybe 20 seconds, I'm able to identify if this client is a great candidate, right? So when Kari Kari spoke to me, I was not impressed. But when I looked at his CV, it was so great. And that is one major thing that is a challenge for a lot of people. Kari Kari had applied to Yale, to Stanford, to Harvard, to a lot of schools, to MIT, a lot of these top schools, and he was qualified. But then he could not tell his story. He was not confident in his achievements, right? Because he thought it is too competitive for him to even consider getting in. So what did we do? We told Kari Kari stories with him. We made sure that we highlighted every single achievement that he actually every single achievement from his profile. And for instance, there was one particular achievement I remember to date for years that he mentored a child who had one blind eye to get into one of the best senior high schools in the country, which is Presec Legon. And he taught his class for the 3 years he was in Presec. So, I mean, these are some of the stories that Kari Kari did not know was important. Why should I bring a story of a young boy who grew up in my neighborhood that I helped? So IBS will talk to you. We will try and find out what you are hiding. What are you underestimating? What should we be looking at? How can we put together the best application for you and all that? So let's look at some of the common mistakes applicants make. First one is poor timing. Isaac talked about the admission seasons, and basically, if you are somebody that can at least read, you can go on every school's website and find out what the cycles are, so you don't apply late, or also like so that you don't apply to the wrong channel as well. So a lot of people do not apply, especially if you are looking at funding for next year. You should already start your application by now. So these are some of the mistakes that students make. We look at weak narratives as well. I think I've spoken about it, how SOPs, most people is very, very weak SOPs, and not because they don't have the achievements, because they do not know how to objectively position themselves well. And so that is where we come in. We review all written essays with clients. So by the time we submit, it is you on paper. The school will not even question the essay, because all that is on paper is what you have achieved so far. And I always tell clients how proud I am of them, because we are just doing very little out of the work that has been done over the years. Imagine going to primary to SHS to the university, 4 years of being in a Ghanaian university, and you're able to come out with a first class in, for instance, sociology or social work or engineering or whatever. For instance, we have somebody who was a valedictorian of our college here with us, Joel Ansan, and he's one of the people that have very impressive profiles. And I think that a lot of people put in the work, right? Some people also graduate with a lower, but they have
fuck.
high
Oh
job.
my god, fuck.
So basically,
Oh my God, piss in my face.
what
Oh yeah.
the person speaking means themselves.
Oh yeah.
Who is speaking? I think it's Zach Olo. Zach, can you please mute yourself?
I'm s-
All right, Zach. Oh, we've been hacked? Wow. Okay. Should I continue with my presentation because I'm seeing that we've been hacked? Oh, okay. Mrs. Rosalind, please, should we continue with the presentation?
But please, we can
Okay.
remove the person and then we go on. Yeah.
All right, sure. So another mistake that is mostly made is generic references. And sometimes when you are applying for funding and you are looking at becoming a graduate assistant, for instance, you have to make sure your recommendation letters are at least one or two of them are coming from academic recommenders, because you cannot go and get a recommendation from, for instance, only an internship you did that lasted a few months over a 4-year degree recommendation from a university. You can't do that. So we advise on that as well. And then we make sure that you know which recommendation letter should be needed for each application. So one mistake people make is that they don't choose the right recommenders because they are too scared to even approach our professors and our lecturers in Ghana. So we find ways to make sure that is done in a way that does not make you uncomfortable, and then we go ahead to apply. So also mission misalignment, which I've already spoken about, so I'll just move on. So how do you stand out? Let's look at the IBS frameworks for success. This is what has worked for most of our clients. You need to start early. And when I say start early, it is not just waking up and starting your application. It's also research. It's also putting together documents. Like Gloria mentioned, you need to have a journal of all of your achievements. So for instance, if I have two clients and one has a journal, one doesn't, the person with the journal joining the 30 minutes consultation already, I would know what we can do. I will know what possibilities are there for the person. But the person without a journal, I need to have conversations upon conversations to even get the information I will need from such a person. So you do yourself a huge favor by actually putting together your own documents and telling your own story in your own little way, right? So that when you contact us, it is easy for us to help you or work with you or advise you or go on this journey with you. So quantify your achievements. Gloria mentioned that as well. You have to, we are in 2025, we are in an era where data is everything, right? So how do you take advantage of that? You have to make sure you quantify your achievement. For instance, if you went through an outreach, you have to exactly state what percentage of people were impacted, how many students you worked with, what the outcome of this project is, how much was made. All these things are very, very important. You cannot generalize your achievement. You have to add data because people want to know exactly what the outcome was. And if the people cannot quantify something, you don't expect them to put their money into you, right? And then you leverage networks. A lot of people do not know that if for a platform like LinkedIn, you can find a lot of people who have graduated from your dream schools. You can reach out to them. Reach out to as many as possible. At least one person will respond to you, and then you take it from there. Map your story. I've mentioned that already, and customize everything. So tailor each application specifically. If you're applying to Yale and Oxford, a Yale application should be different, even if it's the same course. For instance, your SOP. The only thing you may keep maybe your CV. But for your SOP, you need to write a separate SOP for each school. The stories may be similar, but you have to make sure that you dedicate one essay for each school, because there are things you may mention from Harvard or Yale may be different from what you mentioned for Oxford, because statement of purpose, SOP says basically an essay highlighting you as a person, your achievements, your career goals, all those things. Mostly universities give you guidelines, sometimes they have requirements. They say write not more than 1,000 words. They say write no more than 2 pages. They say don't write not more than 3 pages. So this is something you can take advantage of as well. You need to read and understand what exactly the school is requiring, and then you make sure you highlight the most important aspect, what's the information the school will need. If it's ambiguous, if they are not telling you what to do and they are just saying write an SOP, then you can really do a lot of freestyling. Just make sure that the relevant things that Gloria and Isaac mentioned are captured in there. And don't worry, if you cannot do it, of course, IBS is there to help you map out your story. So our competitive advantage is the insider knowledge. We've worked with a lot of people. For instance, our CEO is currently a student of Yale, and she's actually she has entered rooms because of IBS Consulting that has given her access to resources that you can use, our clients can use and have access to as well. And alumni networks have mentioned that holistic approach as well. We don't just look at one aspect of you as a person, look at every single thing, no matter how insignificant you think it is. And we have a proven methodology. After 6 years, we've realized that our methods work. We are not rigid. We always adapt to new trends, but at the same time, we have data to back it up. We have a 98% success rate, and that is what sets us apart. We do not lie to clients. We are transparent with clients, and we make sure that every client story is different. We make sure we give attention to every client, no matter how big or small. So how do you contact IBS? We have a 30-minute free consultation for anybody who wants to talk to us. Now, what happens during this consultation? I talk to you about what you seek to achieve. I look at your profile. We have very limited time, so I try to make sure that I give you information on what to expect if you're applying to school A or school B or school C, or if you are going to, for instance, the US. A few weeks ago, if you had joined me on a call and you had mentioned you want to go to the US, I would also share with you how difficult it is to get dates right now. And if you are booking an appointment to go for an interview, so you already know what to expect in the future. So what I also did not mention is that we do visa consultations as well for some specific countries, US, UK, Canada, and then also some European countries too. Yeah, so basically that's what we do. And then we look at strategic planning. So for clients who want to move beyond the 30 minutes consultation, after we've shown you our packages, you can go ahead to tell us exactly when you want to start, which of our packages you want, and then how you make payments. We send you documents, your quotation and your service agreement that would spell out exactly what to expect from IBS and what we expect from you as well. Because like I said, it's teamwork. Everybody does their part. And then we start the application. We go through everything with you. And then if you need an interview prep, we do that. One thing I also have to mention is that IBS does not guarantee funding. In fact, if I say we guarantee funding, that would be a lie, and I do not lie, right? So what we do is to position you well and make sure you have a great application when you are applying. But we do not have control over outcomes based on the school's discretion. Now, the only thing we guarantee is admission. So if you come to us and you tell us you want to apply to school A, school B, we look at the packages and let you know which one is best suited based on your profile and what your goal is. And then if we allow you to choose package A, it means we have signed up to work with you till you land an admission, but we cannot guarantee funding. The only thing is that if funding is your priority, right from the selection of your school to actually turning in the application, we will prioritize putting together schools that have funding, schools that give you a better shot at funding, and also look out for schools that have pipelines where we can reach out to professors on your behalf. So we do everything we can for you in terms of getting you funding, but we cannot guarantee it. If we could, it would have been great, but unfortunately we don't, because we do not control how these schools spend their money. So this is my presentation on IBS and what mistakes that people usually make, and basically how to proceed from here. I believe that we've had information from our speakers. Gloria and Isaac have done an incredible job on telling you how possible it is to do your own applications from a small place, no matter where you are. And also, I have also highlighted the need not to be too hard on yourself. If you can afford to pay IBS to do it for you, go ahead and do it. One thing I also mentioned is that we have various essays on our website that you can have access to. We are currently revamping our website right now. It should be up by the end of the month, but you have essays that have worked for us, CVs that we have used for clients. So if you don't even have money to engage our services, you still can have access to these documents and you can customize it to yourself, right? We have people who have used our CVs, the CVs we put out there for free for clients. We have people who have used these CVs to get into very good companies for internships and full-time positions. We have had people who have also used our essays to get into very top schools. All these success stories, you find some of them on our website. All these clients I mentioned, you see Kari's face, his actual face on our website. You see Sally's face on our website, and you see all of them. If you like, you can reach out to them on LinkedIn as well, because their names on our website are correct for LinkedIn. So you can reach out to them, ask them about their experience working in IBS. But what I would say is that do not limit yourself. Anything you set your mind to is possible. And I think that we've heard that all over and over again. But today, this is what makes today different. Today, you've listened to the story of Isaac, you've listened to the story of Gloria. So you are not looking at somebody you do not know telling you anything is possible. These are people you can see on your laptops, on your phones, and they are telling you it's possible. This is like the best you can get, right? So make good use of it and make sure that this particular meeting you have joined does not go to waste. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'll end my presentation here.
Thank you so much, Shaukia, for that insightful presentation. And a very big thank you to all of our speakers. All of you have done so well. God bless you all. We will delve right into Q&A. So if you have any question, kindly raise your hand. I'll call on you, or you can drop it in the chat. But I would kick the ball rolling and ask our students, Isaac and Gloria. So my question is, okay, well, to Gloria, for your essay, for example, I wanted to ask, how did you strike a balance in sounding authentic as in yourself and also being competitive?
Hello, Kusia. Please, I
Hi.
didn't hear your last line. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, so for your essay, for example, how did you strike a balance between being yourself? Because being honest is like a very great requirement, but also you have to be competitive such that when they actually read your essay, they would pick you. So how did you strike a balance between being your authentic self and also trying to, be competitive?
Yeah, I think that, thank you very much for the question. I think it's very important. I think one thing I would want to touch on before I even answer the question straightforward is that as Ghanaians, we usually have like this common trait where we are being taught to be very humble about our achievements and not talk too loud about it, be very submissive. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say, but basically if there are things like you've done, you can't even just own it outright. You are scared, and I think that thing must change first before you even write your essay, because in your essay, remember, you are competing with the entire world. Nigeria, whatever countries across, they don't even group it like Africa, application, global, no, everywhere. So you have to be very confident, and in being confident is where you find your authentic voice. Like, you are telling your story. is authenticity. What really happened? Okay, this happened. And be able to calculate very well that, okay, you went into a community, do a research. The community you went into, how many people live there? And you gather data. I mean, there's monitoring and evaluation after. So after what happened, like what are these things really allow you to bring your rich perspective, your authentic voice into the story you write. And you bring in that confidence in like the number of people who have been impacted, the people who have been touched, some examples of people who have even post like maybe 2 years after, 3 years after, they are even benefiting from the thing you've done, and that is where the reader, if me, I'm reviewing or the whoever is reviewing, will see that, I love this story. It's rich and like you can see something I've not read about before. I want to know more about this person. So I think that's how you need to approach. So first change that mentality of not being confident about what you've done and channel that energy into how you write your story. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I
Thank
hope
you
I've
so
answered very
much.
well.
Oh, yes.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Perfecto. Please, Harrison, you have your hand up. You can unmute and then ask your question.
Yeah, can someone please confirm for me if I'm audible?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. So I have two questions. The first one goes to Isaac. He made mention of contacting alumni and also emailing professors directly. I would like to find out like how you can do that. Is it like there is a site where all these professors are there and so you go and pick their emails and do it, or like how is it done? And also in writing essays for like essays like motivation, let's say, and any other essay, you see right now AI is now ubiquitous. So do you have to use AI? Or if you use AI, what do you do to it? Or do you have to like write everything from your mind, like without the use of AI? Thank you. Please, was my question clear?
Yes, it was very clear. I don't know if I can proceed to answer it.
Yes, please, you can.
Okay, so one of the amazing things about the schools here is that every school has the professor's details, their website, their email address, all the research work they've done on the school portal. So when you go to every school's portal, go to maybe School of Environment, School of Medicine, School of Nursing, oh, sorry. Okay, please, can I be seen and heard clearly?
Yeah.
Great. So every school has those things on the portal. So you can just email the professor that you can look at their research work first. Maybe you're into petroleum engineering. Look at professors whose works are related to petroleum engineering. Maybe they are doing something under hydrocarbons, which is something interests you, or you are interested in medicine or in environment. You are looking at environmental justice. Look for a professor who's very loud on advocacy on poverty or inequality, and email them, because the emails will be there that, oh, Professor, this I saw that you're working on this, and this is what I did in Ghana relating to this, because I'm very passionate about women, or I'm very passionate about helping communities with sanitation issues or health issues. Like, show them your true passion, be real, and find the professor who's working directly under what, because professors are doing various things. So find a professor who is doing something related to your work. I mean, if you tell them your true story, they would definitely vouch for you. So you can add in the email, you can probably add your CV, and for them to see where you have worked, what you have done in relation to what you want to do with the program you want to apply for. And then again, in terms of AI, it's a big no. It's a big no, not even for the small schools. Once they have very advanced apps that they use. If you have, okay, for my school, for example, if you have common A from an AI, you have been denied. So you have to use your real self, use your own voice. Even if there are mistakes, they don't mind. I think during the session we had recently, they were telling us they don't even mind if you have grammatical errors because they know some people are coming from Africa. I wouldn't say Ghanaians are not good in vocabulary, but they know some people are not very good in articulating what's on their mind. But be real, tell your story, tell them the people you have impacted. Let the metrics show. We've helped 50,000 women. Just be real, okay, and just tell your story, and then you can make a safe yeah, you can make a good story. I don't know if Gloria wants to add anything. I can see you smiling.
I think, Isaac, you've really said it all. Like, honestly, when I came here, and the truth is that what Isaac is saying is all of these processes you go through actually prepares you for your study here, either in the UK or in the US, because the educational system is basically like that. The strategy on how you write your essays in school, in classrooms, and all is the same. So if you are able to ace it, you are able to like also ace it when you get here. So try as much as possible. They just want to see how authentic you are. They just want to hear another story from another part of the world, and what this young person is doing out there. And I and say that, okay, I want to support you, So just own your story. Me, the only time I would advise you to use AI tools will be like Grammarly, sometimes your punctuations may be wrong. British language, we sometimes mix it with the American one, so the spelling, some of these petty things. But please just write your own story and correct the grammatical errors. Simple. Yeah.
Thank you, Isaac and Gloria. Please, are there any more questions?
Yeah, Akosia, please, I have another question. I don't know if I can proceed.
Yes, please, you can.
Okay, so in the panelist submission, they are talking about experiences, interest. I mean, so what if you have little to none of any of these experiences? How do you then put in a good application? For instance, let's say a community project, you don't have any of these things. However, you also want to go ahead and apply, tell that professor that maybe when you get the opportunity, you'll be able to like start that whole community project, up fresh. But then if you don't have any of these how do you call it, interest or these projects done before, how do you go about that in that regard?
So before Gloria, Isaac, or maybe Shalkia comes in, I just want to mention something. That Harrison, I believe I heard all the three of them talk about the fact that it depends on how you put your story together. And the fact that you've had some level of undergraduate education, something definitely went on when you were in school. Okay, it depends on how you package it. So you might not necessarily have done a community project because there are some people who just go from undergrad, maybe they didn't do any activity there specifically, and then they want to do masters. And yes, they go to do it. Even at home, how you've helped with your baby siblings, your parents, your family. I heard them talk about this. So it's all about packaging your story. It shouldn't necessarily be like Gloria's story or Isaac's story, but whichever way you've made an impact, maybe even in your community, one day you were able to mobilize your own friends, okay, to do some volunteer work, to do some cleanup exercise. You turn it around into how it beautified the community, maybe prevented the spread of like communicable diseases because there was so much waste. Okay, it's about how you package it. It shouldn't be anything extraordinary. If you have extraordinary stories, way to go. If you don't, whatever you have, package it, because we all have to start from somewhere. And we are all not going to have the same level of experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Roslyn. Please, would any of our speakers want to come in and chip in?
Okay, I just want to add one other thing. I think Madam's point was very excellent. And one other thing that also impresses them is imaginative thinking. Okay, aside what Madam said, that you have to find yourself and what you have done. In your story or in your statement, you can say that after writing all that you have been through, you can say, I imagine a world where fossil fuels are no more. Like let them even see a world that is in line with what you have done. Okay, so cover every aspect. Or I imagine a world where Ghanaians are educated and children within my community called maybe Accra. Or I imagine a world where pollution in Accra is minimized and that people can once again smile, like something very nice. Include that, adds on to what you have already achieved, like maybe your bachelor's degree in something, so that they know that you have a goal. So when they see the goal, that it adds on to the whole application. Yeah, so that's it.
Great.
Hi,
Thank you.
everyone. So another
Okay.
thing that you should also know is that there's no way you don't have anything to write if you have, for instance, graduated from the university. There's nothing like that. You just don't know it's important. So it's an important part of your journey. And so you just have to sit down and think about your life right from primary to the university. Write every little thing down. Definitely you get something out of it. And then you can amplify it and use the tricks that our speakers have shared. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shaukia. That's why we kept iterating that nothing is too small. Something that you hold in small regard, when they read, might be something very big. So thank you so much to all our speakers. Please, are there any more questions that you'd like to ask? And please, Shaukia, someone was asking, IBS, do you charge? How much do you charge? I don't know if I missed it in your presentation, but can you please share with us?
Yes, so we don't have a specific amount we charge for everybody. We have a range though. So currently our package ranges from $1,300 to $4,500. We have monthly payments, we have installment payments as well. But you can also patronize services, individual services. For instance, if you need just the essay, we'll draft it for you. We just cannot guarantee admission if you want individual services. But as soon as you book a comprehensive service, we make sure that we work with you till you get admission. Let me reiterate, admission, scholarship, we help you apply. We make sure we do everything we can to put in a great application, but we cannot guarantee funding. I'll also put my Calendly link in the messages, the chats, so that if you want to book a call, you can definitely go ahead to book it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaukia. Okay. Also, I would like all speakers to please share their LinkedIn profiles in the chat so that we can connect with you after the call. Are there any more questions? If not, then I think, okay, Charlotte, I see your hand is up. Please, you can go ahead. Hello, Charlotte. You can please unmute and then speak. If not, you can type it in the chat so that we can answer from there. But are there any more questions from you? Admin must unmute. Charlotte, are you unable to unmute? Admin, can you please unmute her? Okay. If there are no more questions, then I guess we would bring this session to an end. I would call on Eric to give us the vote of thanks. Eric, are you
Thank
here?
you so much. Yes, I'm here. Thank you all for joining this meeting, and a very big thank you to our amazing speakers. We deeply appreciate you for honoring our invitation and sharing your wisdom with us tonight. Kindly drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat so participant can connect with you after this section. To our mentor, Madam Rosalind, thank you for creating this incredible initiative. Without your vision, this session wouldn't have been possible. And to our wonderful audience, you have been amazing. Your questions and engagement made this section interactive and impactful. We hope you are leaving with more clarity and confidence to take that bold step toward your graduate school journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. Again, on behalf of Hangouts with the Wizard, we say a very big thank you for coming to the session. Kindly follow us on our social media platforms at Rosalind Fosua Ej on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. This recording would be available on YouTube after the session. And until then, until our next event, we will continue to share, help, overcome, and win together. Eric, can you please mute yourself? Okay, so sorry. Yes, so until our next session, until our next event, we will continue to help, to share, help, overcome, and win together. And have a good evening, everyone. Thank you so much once again for joining. Bye.
So, Akosia, many thanks to our speakers, please, from me. Thank you so much. This was very, very informative for me. I really have learned a lot. Thank you so much for your time, for your slides, the time you put into preparing these amazing slides. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who joined. We had a consistent number just being on and listening. Thank you so much. We look forward to future engagements. God bless you. And thank you
Amen.
to the
too for
crew.
inviting
Sorry, one more
us.
thing. We want to take a group photo, so as many as can you
Oh,
please?
many people have left.
Oh, please turn on your
Let's see.
camera so that we can take a picture if you can. Okay. His agenda, whenever you're ready. Agenda, are you with us?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Okay. So you can do a countdown.
Yeah, let's take our
to
group photo. A number of people are leaving. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I've taken it.
Okay, awesome.
Hey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you all so much once again. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you
Bye.
very much for inviting us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
welcome, Gloria.
Thank you so much.